Because our next guest burst onto the comedy scene in 2009 and quickly became a household name with her beloved sitcom, Miranda.
For the last decade, she has taken herself out of the spotlight following a private health battle.
But it's not all doom and gloom, no, it's not. As the star announced, she's recently married the love of her life at the age of 51.
And newlywed is with us now. Congratulations!
Oh, congratulations. So happy for you.
I can do all that.
You put a ring on it?
Yeah.
No, you can't do that now because you're not single.
Oh, yeah.
You're not a single lady.
Okay, fine.
But you can go like that.
It's quite fun. No one really cares, but you just go.
You don't care. Congratulations.
Oh, look at you holding my book up.
Look at
Thanks.
it.
Yeah.
That's the money shot.
It's like jazz hand moment with it, isn't it? I like that. Thanks.
How did it feel when you actually saw it for the first time? It was like, oh, my gosh.
Quite emotional, actually.
Really?
Well, just because the story is, you know, a decade of not all fun.
Yeah.
So it was like there was my difficult time in a book as well, and just to have done the research for it. So, yeah, I had a little weep.
When did you decide to put pen to paper about the last decade?
Well, I started researching for myself to start with when I didn't get a diagnosis and felt rubbish and couldn't work anymore. I collapsed on the floor with fatigue and just wasn't getting any answers. So I thought, OK, I need to research and go, there's this whole wellbeing industry out there. What is actually true? What is science? What could actually help me feel
Did you find the
better?
answers?
I feel like I found the answers, not necessarily to recovery from disease. I'm not saying that, gosh, no, but to live with chronic illness. And I just needed to know how to do the next 10 minutes, basically.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't go, I couldn't do an ice plunge. I couldn't go to a chalet break in Norway and have hashtag self-care weekend. So I was like, what are the treasures? What are the keys? And so once I researched that for myself, I felt like I can't not share this.
Yeah.
So I did in my book, what's out now.
So how long did it take to write it, and when did you...
Well, years, really. The research took a good 6-7 years. And then when I got my diagnosis a few years ago, I then sort of amended my story a bit. And then I met my now husband and thought, I've got to put a little bit of the love story in it. So it just sort of took a while.
Yeah.
So just let's go back a little bit and remind me of the diagnosis, because, I mean, it was probably about the age of 15 when you felt like something infected you.
Yeah. I got a bug that felt like flu when I was about 14, 15, when I lived in America. My father was working out there. And then since then, I just never felt well. I joined the dots now, but I never felt well since I was about 15. I had really weird neurological symptoms. I felt dizzy, sort of double vision, just loads of really weird things. Just felt like I had flu all the time. Yeah. And then over a lifetime, when we all experience difficulties and then we get ill, even a cold, my immune system just couldn't cope with it. I was just more and more and more run down. And each day was like wading through treacle. So eventually I found out that it would have been Lyme disease that I got then, but it was just not an acute version of it. And so it was reactivated constantly in the body. Any other virus I got just accumulated. My immune system was disordered. So you then end up with a kind of ME picture, a fatigue-based condition.
Which is hard enough when you are just on a day-to-day basis. But when suddenly you write the sitcom and you hit gold and you're working every day, the God sends, that must have been so debilitating, because like you've got to get out of bed every day and do it, right? And then it's not just filming it, you've got to write it, then they've got a pressure to programming it, and then all the other opportunities come when it's a success. Yeah,
by then, I mean, sort of sadly in a way, I kind of got used to getting up, feeling rough and just going, just got to keep going, because no one was saying what was wrong or how to manage it. So I was used to being really strong and brave and just keeping it to myself and keeping going. But the sadness for me was that looking back, I didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd often be in rehearsals and I'd look at a glass of water and think, I can't find the energy to get my arm to lift.
Gosh.
That's what fatigue is like, which I share not for sort of self-pity or woe is me at all, but just for all the millions, sadly, living with fatigue-based conditions. Because we all get tired, right? So when you say fatigue, you think, no, it's literally I don't know how to move. So I feel sad I couldn't really enjoy it. But I managed it all right.
Did you talk about it to anybody?
Not
Did your
really.
friends and family know?
No, because when you're sort of just keeping on, which I think so many of us do with long-term conditions, whether that's a difficult relationship, whether it's whatever, you feel like you get into that, I suppose, quite English way of I mustn't keep complaining,
Just
or
a faffle,
you don't know
isn't it?
how to ask for help as well, because you don't know what you're asking for help for.
Yeah.
And if you say to someone, I don't feel like I can pick up my glass, you think you're going to sound like a diva, or they're going to like, you what? Just have a drink, love.
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
So
Well,
you
as well,
get stuck, yeah.
Because the dial has shifted so much with so many things in the last 10, 15 years, you know, on the right side of progress. You don't feel like this is particularly talked about even now. You know, this is a very valuable book in many ways.
Oh,
And
thanks.
well, just to have the conversation, because there must be so many people out there.
Yeah, and also I think it applies... I mean, obviously what I went through was a chronic illness, but I think it applies... I've had loads of friends saying to me, gosh, this really resonates. There's little things like how often we say sorry and how it's all these little things, micro things that are exhausting, or just what vulnerability actually is. I thought I was quite good at vulnerable because, you know, I was a silly creative and kind of happy to fart in public, whatever. Isn't that being vulnerable? Turns out that's part of me, but I was terrible at asking for help.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to do it. I was like brought up with you're independent and strong, you do it yourself, you want a job done, get it done yourself, you know, all that sort of thing. So learning to be really fragile and go, oh, that is part of what being a human is.
Also,
I still think we're not brilliant at that.
No.
Yeah.
Also,
And
who,
so that's
who to
really-
ask as well, right?
Who to ask, who's your trusted people, how many... I was then a terrible oversharer. I'd then tell everyone, go, no, that's not right. So it took a lot of... So that's sort of what the book is, was how to be more honestly myself. So I can be the comedian and the silly one and the oversharer and the windbreaker.
Yeah.
But now I can now I can also be vulnerable and honest and have a little weep and go, actually, do you know, I'm just a really highly sensitive person. I need this much sleep. I don't like socialising very often. This is me.
Yeah.
And it feels amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you, honestly. And the fact that you are so vulnerable in the book is going to help so many people. But that is thanks to Selena Gomez, isn't it, a little bit? The fact that she shared...
Well, so it's mainly about me.
It's her to thank, though, isn't it?
Well, I went through a moment of going, I don't think I can put that, I just don't feel strong enough to be vulnerable to put that out there. Does anyone really want this? But is it going to help? I had a real wobble. Watched Selena's documentary, and she's been through so much, and obviously a fame at such a young age and all her health problems. And her documentary, I was just like, I was weeping going, I feel heard. So if one person can read it and go, I've felt fatigued since I was 15 too, then...
And before we let you go, you're watching Strictly. How's she doing, Sarah?
Oh, my God, I'm obsessed, my friend.
I'm loving all the advice you're giving her.
Yeah, I'm head choreographer. Vito has given in and realises that he needs to listen to me. So I'm head choreographer.
You do a Monday morning routine.
I'm also
with
not
them.
doing a book tour. I'm campaign trail. Come on, Hadders.
Come on, Haddon.
She actually gave you some advice for being on this morning. So here's Sarah with a little bit of advice. Here you go.
Hi Miranda, we want to thank you so much for all your advice and all your tips.
However, now you're on this morning, and we've just done it now, and I'm just going to give you this really heartfelt advice.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Because you are amazing.
Be yourself.
Be yourself, and we love you.
Be yourself.
Be yourself,
Very
Miranda.
I mean, they ran that home, didn't they? I think they got stuck on be yourself. Yeah, well, that's what the book is. It's how to honestly be yourself.
Well, there is the book. I haven't been entirely honest with you. But what I want to know is, what have you done today to make you feel proud?
Loving your work.
You wrote a book.
Yeah, I done a book.
It's quite a lot.
and sat here and chatted to you, which is a great privilege.
Thanks, Miranda.
Now, you are staying for the phone-in, aren't you, Miranda?
Well, I'm staying for anything you want.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Back now then, we've all heard of Miss Universe, of course, Miss World, Miss Great Britain, but this year there's a new beauty pageant that's making the headlines.
The first of its kind, Miss Bariatric Beauty, was created to celebrate women who've had weight loss surgery.
Yeah, after being inspired to start the pageant following her own gastric sleeve surgery, Senna Michelle Jushaw is joining us on the sofa.
And we're also going to be speaking to three of the amazing contestants who took part, Iona, Lizzie and Rihanna.
So this is how they looked before they lost a staggering 30 stone between them. Let's see them now. Come on in, ladies.
They
really did, didn't they? Come and join us. Lovely to see you all.
I mean, you seriously gave that some welly, ladies. You wouldn't want to mess with you guys. How are you? Good morning. Good morning.
I think you might need to budge up a little bit to get all the girls on with their amazing outfits. Welcome. I think you all arrived as I arrived this morning, didn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't. It's funny because we turned up. We're not sure who's coming in, but to have so much glamour on the sofa is a real treat.
I know. All before 11 o'clock.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, look, we're joined now by Ona Thomas, who lost 10.5 stone since her gastric bypass last year. Lizzie Penman-Green, who lost 11 stone after having a gastric sleeve. And Rihanna Berry, who has dropped 8 stone after getting a gastric sleeve. Really wonderful to meet you all. Thank you all for coming and joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much. And first of all, let's say, not with the weight, but just you all look as though you exude so much confidence and glamour now. Well done, ladies. So, Senna, you started this this pageant. Why did you do it?
So, I had weight loss surgery in June 2021.
Yep.
Really unconfident, you know. There was times before that I didn't want to leave the house with my children because I just felt like people would look at me and judge me. I've lost 8.5 stone now, which is incredible. And last year I got approached by the Miss Great Britain Surrey regional director, and she said, "I'd really like you to come and have a go." And I thought, you know what, why not? Let's just jump at new opportunities. And I absolutely just fell in love with pageantry and the values that Miss Great Britain has. So after that, you know, I just felt so empowered by the feeling, kind of the metaphor of putting yourself out there on stage, that I thought, I want to share this feeling. How can I do that? So I created the pageant to kind of encourage girls to just beat their fears and just put themselves out there and go for it. And it's kind of not just about, you know, beauty. I mean, they all look stunning, but it's not just about the beauty. It's about getting that confidence and saying yes to new opportunities following this journey, because I just think that's really important. So.
What operation did you have and how did you feel beforehand?
So I had a vertical sleeve gastrectomy.
Right.
So I had 80% of my stomach removed. Beforehand, like I say, I was really unconfident. I did have postpartum depression after my first baby, and I just didn't want to leave the house. You know, I stayed in dark clothes. I just didn't really feel like I was living. I was just existing in this body. So since having it, my life has changed so much. I've gained confidence in myself. You know, I go out, I'm happy to, you know, just go out and try new clothes. It's just such an incredible experience. And the opportunities it's given me since gaining confidence, I've kind of, you know, changed career paths a little bit because I didn't feel like I could interview for positions before. And now I have the confidence to sit there and say, this is me. Amazing.
It's amazing. Ona, let's talk about you, because when you hear about a competition like this, would you ever have entered a beauty competition?
Absolutely not. The self-esteem was not there. The confidence was not there. I've sort of suffered with my weight for such a long time. I just thought, oh, this is life now. Like, I'm not gonna go out and experience life. And it was only when I did have the gastric bypass and then noticed that things were changing and quite rapidly that I was like, oh, actually, I like this. I like life. I like getting out there. I like it all, and I want to do it.
You like being seen. You like being noticed.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I really do. And I feel like, whereas before, even though I was bigger, I would try and take up as little space as possible. Whereas now, I'm not so big, but I'm just like, well, I'll fill the room. I don't mind. Like, yeah, I'm happy to.
You've got 2 little boys.
Yeah.
You can run around after, because that was one of the things that you were like, actually, I don't.
It was
feel
my
fit
catalyst.
enough.
Yeah,
Right.
my catalyst for surgery was the boys. So I just had my second son, and he was 2 months old, and I just felt like I couldn't do the nights. Like, it was down to my husband. Like, I didn't have the energy. I was just a blob. I couldn't move, and I just thought I need to do something now because I want to give my children the best life. And although it is for me, it was originally for them, and it's just that out of that, it's ended up.
Lizzie, congratulations.
Hello.
You were crowned Miss Bariatric
I was.
Surgery. It's amazing. I can't, looking at all of you and watching these pictures pop up, it's incredible, because of course you're there, but it's a different person that we're looking at now. What's your journey been like?
My journey has been really, really good. It's been a really good journey. Through going through the pageant, when people say it changed my life, I always think, no, it doesn't really. But actually, it did change my life.
Look, if you just look forward, if you look towards camera 2 there...
It's a different person.
I mean, that's...
I look like I ate myself.
You can say that, Lizzie, because it's your picture. You look like somebody who was obviously having a good time that day, but the difference now, you can see it in your eyes.
So before I was always confident. Even when I was big, I was confident, but it wasn't a real confidence. This is genuine confidence. Like I love myself. I actually really love who I am. My body carries around the vessel for my soul, and my soul is so special. So why wouldn't I want the best vessel for my soul?
It's so interesting, actually, Rihanna, how you can go and enter the competition, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And then it's literally like a springboard that takes you on the next stage of your life. And all these amazing opportunities open up, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, so I think after having my surgery, I got a lot of confidence back. I was able to get a promotion at work. I'm just able to do things I never thought I would. Like, I would have never entered a pageant ever. And then suddenly, you know, I first runner-up, and, you know, it was the most amazing experience. And just being able to take part and feel so empowered and to know that actually I do have worth, and I think that was a big thing to me.
Yeah.
Senna, listening to all of you talk about the increased confidence that you got, of course, there is a question about beauty pageants in themselves, actually objectifying women who are going into beauty pageants to be considered. And I know it wasn't just about being beautiful, but that is a big part of it. There is sort of a slight conflict because all of you have felt objectified in the past when you were big.
Yeah, and I totally get that. I think pageantry in itself is definitely evolving. You know, it's not just about world peace and who's the prettiest woman anymore. It's not about that. And I think the girls have kind of realised that now from stepping into that world. And especially for Miss Bariatric, it was about celebrating what you've gained, not what you've lost.
Yeah.
And that was actually one of the scorings in their interviews that they did, was, you know, to mark them against how much this has actually changed their life and their journey as a whole. So, yeah, it's not about being conventionally pretty and beautiful. It's about the person and that beauty from within just being able to shine.
And there's actually, like, self-confidence classes you do too, right?
We did, yeah. So the day before, the girls all did a masterclass. That was actually, one of the sessions was held by the current reigning Miss Great Britain Surrey, which is Hayley Burton. And she has a platform called Confidence Crowd. So she came in and she did a session with the girls, and it was
amazing.
Incredible.
It was
life-changing.
I left that with more confidence than I knew how to carry. Like a little while, like 2 weeks before the pageant, I was going through a bit of a rough time, and I didn't feel good and I didn't feel confident. And when I left there, I felt like the most confident person.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, there were so many tears.
You can just see it in all of you.
For
and
sure.
very excitingly, Rihanna, you've just got engaged as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Look at her sparkler. God,
There you go.
lucky.
This is the moment. Oh, we got the ring. Go back to the big moment when your fiancé, who you've been with for a long time.
Yeah, I've been together for, it was our 8-year anniversary, actually, when he asked me, and I really wasn't expecting it at all. And, yeah, I just feel very lucky.
Amazing.
So cool.
I'm sure he does as well, Rihanna, more importantly. He'll be thrilled to bits. Congratulations to all of you.
Yeah,
Senna,
very
thank you for coming in and sharing your stories with us, because it's really, really inspiring.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
In September last year, we once again partnered with Calm, which is the suicide prevention charity, Campaign Against Living Miserably, to highlight the number of young lives lost to suicide.
As part of the Miss Birthdays campaign, thousands of balloons were floated in Westfield, London shopping centre, each one serving as a tragic reminder of a young person who had taken their own life.
In the last decade, 6,929 young lives have been lost to suicide in the UK. And as the work continues to raise awareness, today we're joined by parents Jenny and Jack Swift, whose 15-year-old daughter, Evelyn, is one of the many who never reached her next birthday.
Happy birthday, Evelyn, my beautiful girl. From the moment I first held you, my world changed forever.
Sad. Happy, sad.
You've brought sunshine into our lives with your kind heart and amazing hugs. That beaming smile that can light up any room, and your infectious laugh that always sets everyone else off. It hasn't always been easy, but you make us so proud every single day. You've brought so much joy and laughter into our lives. And I feel so proud to be your mum. Happy birthday, sweetheart.
It's such an incredible film, isn't it? So powerful,
Beautiful.
so emotive. To tell us more about Evelyn's story, we're joined now by her mum, Jenny, and her stepfather, Jack, alongside Calm's Wendy Robinson. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for coming in. Jenny, is such an extraordinary film to watch, so full of joy and love and laughter, which I guess is exactly how you remember her.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about what she was like growing up.
Evelyn was awesome, just an awesome human. She was happy, she was kind, she was bubbly, really intelligent. She loved primary school, she loved learning, she loved helping others, she loved baking. That was a real passion of hers.
And what kind of things did you enjoy doing together as a family?
We loved going out for walks. At home, she would build dens with her little brother, and she started baking with him and letting him lick the spoon, you know. I remember having pillow fights at home and, yeah, just doing lots of things together.
So I wonder, Jack, when it was for such a bubbly, infectious, bright young girl, you started to notice things were changing.
It would have been around the time that she was about 11 years old, sort of the move to secondary school. Yeah, it was quite a tricky time anyway in our family for a number of reasons. And, yeah, she found that kind of transition quite hard. And there was a few kind of, like, behavioural things that we just weren't kind of sure about. So Jenny took her to doctors to get sort of checked out and stuff. And, yeah, it was around about the time she was 11.
And what was the response from the doctor at that point, Jenny? Because obviously no one knows your daughter better than you do. So you've seen signs of changes.
Yeah.
What happened when you took her to the doctor?
I'd seen signs of kind of withdrawal and just kind of growing more insular. And I took her to the GP and they said to me in front of her that there's no point referring her to CAMHS because they wouldn't see her unless she was suicidal.
Gosh. And how did that sit with you?
Well, we went away without any support at that point and it was really, really difficult. Evelyn felt like she didn't deserve the help at that point. And as a parent, that's really hard when you've asked for help and there wasn't that.
We did reach out to the GP, but we didn't get any response. She was clearly having issues with her body image as well, wasn't she?
Yeah.
How did that manifest itself?
In various ways. I mean, I remember a couple of occasions where she wasn't very happy in her own skin. And it was really difficult to watch. It was difficult to watch, and we, as parents, I think it's fair to say, didn't sort of, like, know quite how to deal with that all the time. And, like, we learnt along the way, but initially it was really, really difficult.
In terms of how it manifested, I would say that we noticed that she wasn't eating her lunch at school, like she'd bring her lunchbox home. And initially, you know, we thought she's having breakfast at home, she's having a dinner, we'd sit around the dinner table as a family. So we weren't overly concerned and thought, you know, peer pressure, it's that age. She started wearing baggier clothes because she wanted to hide her body.
Right.
It was those kinds of things.
And so then how did it spiral from there? And how did you then go back and ask for more help? Because you're absolutely right. As parents, we don't know how to deal with situations like that. You need help from somebody to help you be able to handle it.
Yeah. So I became more concerned about Evelyn's behaviour and her withdrawal. And I searched her room, actually, and I felt like I was betraying her trust, but I was so concerned.
You understand.
And I found a note that she'd written that showed her intention to end her own life, which was a huge shock for me to find. But it led to a discussion with Evelyn about having dark thoughts, and I took her back to the GP. We got her some support at that point. But at that point, I didn't use the word suicide. I couldn't bring myself to use that word for some reason. And I know now that that was Not the best way to have that conversation, but it was a starting point with what I knew at the time.
Yeah. And so then what did you do next? How old was Evelyn at this point?
13.
About 13, I would say, yeah.
And so then how did you try and put action into motion to improve the situation, and did it improve?
I think shortly after I'd taken her to the GP at that point, we went into lockdown for COVID. So I took her to the GP in maybe the February time, and we went into lockdown in March. So it was really, really tricky. And you said it earlier, didn't you? It turbocharged her illness, I think, at that point.
I think there are so many people who found the pandemic so tough in so many ways, but if you were vulnerable already, it must have been really... Did she withdraw more?
Definitely.
I'd say so. I think there was no escape for her because we were around all the time, because we were all at home. So therefore, we could see how much she wasn't eating. Like, although we kind of knew already in certain ways, we sort of put a lot of that down to, general teenage anxiety around stuff like that. And but there was no escape for her, and then it built and built.
I think it was also, there was a lot of things online about exercising at home, and she felt the peer pressure. So when she was doing Zoom calls with, friends and things like that, if someone else had done exercise, she would then feel guilty if she hadn't exercised. And it was just this vicious cycle. And then she didn't have an outlet, to go out and see other people. So I think, a lot of young people struggled at that time.
So it got really bad, but things did improve, didn't it? She changed schools, and you went on a family holiday, and all of you felt like there was some hope because she was talking about the future.
Yeah, I think there's a big bit in between where she was really, really unwell and she'd been in hospital for a long time. But when she came out of hospital, she was talking about the future. She wanted to be a mental health nurse. She would say that she didn't want other people to go through what she went through. And she was talking about sixth form. We'd got her a place. She's got earned a place in a local sixth form to study health and social care. We were talking about a holiday to Italy, because when she'd been really, really unwell with her anorexia, we'd said this target in the future of we're going to go to Italy and we're going to eat pasta and pizza. And we just started talking about that again because she felt ready to take that step. So it seemed as though at times that we turned a corner.
Which all seemed like a positive step in the right direction. But there was a day when you were out, and I think you were doing gardening?
Yes. So she'd had a sleepover with a friend the night before, and she was absolutely shattered, basically.
Because they'd stayed up all night like teenagers.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. And so you'd gone out, and I was at home, and I was just kind of doing a few jobs, and I kept checking on Evelyn as per our sort of agreement with CAMS. We would still do 30-minute check-ins.
Right.
And I went to check on her, and she wasn't there. And
And what went through your mind at that point?
A lot of panic. Rang Jenny straight away. I then rang the police. While I was still on the phone to the 999 operator, the police... Because we live quite close to a police station. Policeman turned up. There's actually somebody who had visited our house before when Evelyn had been in a crisis. So he was like, "Oh, I know you guys." Like, we went out to look for her.
We knew that she would be struggling and why she had left the house.
Yeah.
And tragically, it was too late, of course. And she never came home. Wendy, it's listening to Jenny and Jack tell their story and so many things that they went through. You're nodding along because I'm sure you hear it over and over again with the parents who come to CAMS for help.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's deeply tragic, and we're so grateful to Jenny and Jack being involved with us in this way, because it's these stories that bring it to life for people, because I think we don't necessarily take young people and suicide as seriously as we might, or we don't put those two things together very much. But actually, when we've spoken to parents, they tell us that our young people are struggling more than they have done at any other time. So we wanted to be able to provide something practical, not just for parents, because I think it's a heavy weight to carry on your own, bringing up a young person, but any trusted adult to help them be able to be aware of how to have these conversations. As Jenny said, you know, to be able to say the word suicide, it still sticks in people's throat. We're worried, I think, that if we say it, we put it into someone's head, that if they weren't thinking about it, it might trigger that, but actually the opposite is true. If you say it, it kind of bursts that bubble and somebody can start to genuinely share what's going on, because suicide thrives inside darkness and keeping it to yourself. So when you open up, it brings light into it.
So you've devised these calm care kits for parents and for adults and for anybody in this sort of scenario. Just explain what they are.
Yeah, so it's an online resource. It's the CARE stands for very specific things. So C is about learning to check in, to actually build in a regular conversation with a young person, probably before they get to that kind of crisis point, so the young person knows that you're somebody they can bring their general kind of issues with, or something more serious. A is about ask, and this is about ask directly about suicide. And we've created this kit to help people learn how to do that. And R is about remaining close, and it's also about removing any kind of harm from that young person. And E is about expert help. Because as Jenny and Jack did, they reached out to get help.
And got none.
And didn't get what they needed. And our experts need to learn this as well, to be able to speak about suicide, to take it seriously and to act appropriately. So really what we need is that every single This Morning viewer to get to the care kit on our website, to learn what to do. It helps you through early kind of conversations right through to what to do in a crisis, and to share that with everybody, because although we'd want, you know, government and services to do more, and we believe that they will eventually, but in the meantime there's so much more we can do as adults to have these conversations, to speak about suicide and actually to save lives.
The statistics are just so distressing. So yes, we all have to do something as best we can. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm sure it's really painful, but if it can help one person even.
It's lovely, having the memories, isn't it? And looking at the video, it's beautiful. And it's such a gift. But if it helps someone else, that's what
as Evelyn said, like, she didn't want anyone to go through it. So if we can help in any way, then we will.
Unquestionably you are, and you can see as well personally how important these care kits can be.
Yes.
So the value in them is enormous. Thank you for sharing your story and telling us about your gorgeous young girl. She was just amazing, clearly. And you can see it brimming through you still as well, which is really special. And Wendy, thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Now then, we started today's show by unveiling mental health charity Calm's latest campaign that highlights the tragic number of young people who have taken their own lives in the last decade.
One of those balloons in that display of 6,929 is for Amelia, who would have turned 20 at her next birthday. Tragically, she took her own life just last year.
Well, Amelia's family were there this morning to take a look at the installation for themselves, and her brother Oscar, sister Harriet, dad Mark and mum Becky join us now. Good morning, all of you. Thank you for coming in and being here today. Becky, I wonder what you made of the installation first?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite wow. The kind of colour really hits you. And, you know, there's not much colour when you're kind of going through this type of loss. But just the number of young people and, you know, how to prevent that number growing is just really poignant. So.
I think it's a brilliant method of starting that kind of line of communication, opening up. Can you tell us a little bit about Amelia?
Yeah, so Amelia was really happy as a child. She was really good at school. All her parents' evenings were an absolute pleasure all the way through. She was bright, she worked hard. And, you know, she was always into lots of activities, so dancing, athletics, gymnastics, hula hooping, biking. She wasn't very good at biking. There was a lot of time in that park spent teaching her. But, yeah, I mean, she was constantly cartwheeling. She was, you know, really happy, always had a really good, close group of friends. Yeah, you know, really happy, very ordinary in many ways. life.
And Oscar, what was it like what were sort of the dynamic between the three of you as brothers and sisters? Did you all get on well? Was she fun to spend time with, or would there be the usual sort of sibling fighting and things like that?
There was a bit of both, really. She was always, like, the role model, because obviously she was the oldest, so she was trying to keep us in line. Yeah, it was it was a bit of a weird dynamic in that me and Harriet would just be causing mischief and she'd be trying to...
Yeah, we'd be the ones fighting and then she'd be the one that we went to for advice and stuff like that.
Yeah. So she was a bit of a sage, but also a little bit bossy with you as well.
Yeah, she was really bossy. She really liked being in control.
Yeah. And Becky, when was it that you saw any kind of changes, or when did you begin to worry? Was there one significant point, or was it gradually over a period of time?
Yeah, I think, you know, hindsight's wonderful, isn't it? And you look back and think there were probably more triggers than we recognised. But probably from the age of 16, and I do think COVID masked some of her kind of symptoms.
For sure.
It was very controlled at home. It was very, you know, very safe. But I think really it's just after her 18th birthday, that January, was the first sign of kind of depression. But she just seemed to kind of snap out of it. And, you know, when you think, well, it's just, you know, the time of year, or one to watch, or stress of A levels, or...
And when you say depression, what were the elements of it?
So just struggling to get up.
Okay.
She'd worked really hard for her mocks and then seemed to kind of lose a bit of motivation and seemed to struggle to be getting her work done. Just kind of minor, nothing that you would put outside.
Just little things, but a collection of them.
Definitely.
Mark, I'm sure you've all talked about this endlessly and tried to understand how and why it happened. Was there a moment that you didn't know about that had happened, or was it as, you know, was it just as simple as it was the overwhelming feeling of being at that stage in her life that sort of got on top of her?
I think the thing that really crystallised it for us was when she went to university. That seemed to sort of bring the whole thing to her head. So when she first went to university in 2022, she fell over very quickly within 3 weeks and had to come home. And that's when we realised that there was probably quite a serious problem. We had seen some signs of depression before that, but this is when we...
How was she feeling? I mean, I mentioned this to you earlier, and I said we dropped our eldest off at university yesterday, and there's undoubtedly a lot of nerves and anticipation, but also excitement as well. How was she feeling about going to uni?
I think in the run-up to it, I mean, I think because all her friends are going as well, so, you know...
There's a buzz.
There was a buzz about it. She was looking forward to it, and it was only really once, because we took her down to Kent University with all her stuff, and we were settling her in, and she was just crying. She couldn't stop crying. And we couldn't really understand what the problem was, and she couldn't really tell us what the problem was either. Right. So we were staying locally with friends, and we said, look, we'll come back tomorrow if you're still feeling like this, but just see how you get on tonight. You know, go and talk to your flatmates and what have you. And so we went home the next day, and everything seemed to be okay. But then within a couple of weeks, she'd pretty much crashed and said, look, I've got to come home. We said, just come home. If you know, we don't want you. We don't want you being there unhappy. Just come home.
Which is exactly what she will have wanted to hear, and what all parents would turn around and say. And then she seemed to get better a little bit, Becky, right?
Yeah, so she was getting some treatment for anxiety and depression. She was seeing a psychologist. She'd been seen to the doctors. And it took a few months, and there were some bumps in it, but she really seemed to be turning a corner, and she'd got her bounce back in her step, and she'd got some work in a restaurant. It kind of, she was talking about going again for university, switching courses, and it was all positive. And I think there was, a time when we thought, you know what? I probably should say during this time she kind of got an ADHD diagnosis.
Okay.
And that seemed to make so much sense and seemed to join so many dots.
Right.
And initially it was positive, but I think Amelia just had some shame about it, and she struggled with the, control mechanisms that she knew she needed to put into life to deal with the ADHD. Tried medication, but wasn't really
Didn't do anything for her?
Didn't seem to be working. She didn't seem to really want that route.
Right.
So I think, just overwhelmed.
She did go back to university, didn't she?
She did go back, and she was coming home at the weekends. We were trying to do things a bit differently, giving her the kind of ability. It was only 2 hours away, so she could, and then she just phoned up one afternoon and said, no, I need to come home.
And I guess in a way, because one of the things that this campaign is about is getting people to talk, and you would have all been talking a lot at this time, and her being brave enough to say, look, I need to come back, that must have been a bit of a relief in a way, because you knew that she was going to be here and you could all look after her and give her everything that she needed.
Yeah, I mean, you think your child is going to be safe at home.
Yes.
So I think, when she was home, she was very upset when she got home. But the next day, she seemed to be kind of much calmer, much happier. And I think, you kind of think, she's at home, we can get through this. There's a million different routes of getting to where you want to in life. Yeah. We can take time and, we, honestly thought that she was kind of at home and that we could see a way forward.
But that positivity was masking something else, wasn't it? Which you now understand. Just to explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, so she came home. She had a good day the next day, spent a lot of time with us all. And then the next day, I took her for a coffee, which I quite often did to get her up. Gave her a few jobs to do that day. We'd also arranged for some further psychiatrist support. So it's kind of like, let's start again. Let's see if anything's been missed. Let's, so, we had a coffee. She was very quiet, but kind of perked up by the end of it. Yeah. And then I went for a meeting in London, and that was the last time I saw her.
Can't begin to imagine, Mark, how you deal with that, how you pick up the pieces of losing one of your children.
I think when it happens, you think, you basically don't know how you're going to carry on. It just felt like it just blown the family apart. And I think everyone goes through that sort of trauma phase for a few weeks, where you're just functioning day to day, really. But obviously, we have to be here to support these guys. Oscar was doing his A-levels. So you just take it one day at a time. We've had tremendous support from, our family, our friends, the wider community in the town we live in, as well as some sort of external professional support. And, our employees have been very understanding and accommodating. It just takes... It's a cliche, but it takes time. You do start to feel better. Obviously, we think about her all the time.
Yeah.
She's never out of my mind.
Yeah.
But I don't know, somehow it does get better, but it's still tough.
Yeah, I think we were talking last week, actually, about grief and how the grief never goes away, and it will always be there, and it's from loving somebody.
You want it to be there to a certain degree, because that's your, that's your memory. So.
Yes.
But
what advice would you give to any other parents that might be seeing some signs? Or, when I asked you about the question and you said, in hindsight, these were little things, what would you say?
I say listen to your gut instinct, because it's normally right. You know your child better than anyone. But there is also, we weren't aware of all these organisations, and this was not going to be something that we were going to deal with in our life. It wasn't in the plan. There was no sign that Amelia was going to kind of have struggles. So just talk, just look for the help. You're not necessarily going to find it in the NHS. It's very difficult to navigate mental health. But, speak to... There's so many organisations, of which obviously Calm.
Calm is huge.
Big one, yeah.
Harry, I wonder how you all like to remember your sister now as a family.
Yeah, we made a big memory box that we've put in her room, and we buy flowers every month, and we put them in her room and take down the old ones. And we talk about her as much as we can. We don't want to forget her memory and what she was like. Yeah.
She's still very present, Oscar.
Yeah, we do a lot of family holidays to kind of try and get away from it all. And I find those really nice because we can talk about it openly. It's just us. I really enjoy those to try and remember her.
Amazing.
And get away from it all, really.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us this morning, and thank you for talking and sharing your story too. It's one of the crucial things I think I've learnt from this morning's show.
Unquestionably.
Just keep talking.
Thank you all for
Thank you. If you need any help and support for yourself or for a loved one, head along to our website to find helplines and organisations that
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Dawn, I mean, this is
incredible what's happened here, and it's ingenious, and what you're holding in your hand is the reason how this is possible and how it works, and you're going to talk us through it.
So it kind of mimics the penile anatomy, all right? So these are like the spongy vascular chambers that you have in the penis, and when you get aroused, you get an influx of blood into the penis. In this case, we've got, I think it's saline in here. This is actually underneath Mo's skin in his abdomen.
Right.
And then
So
this...
that's the reservoir, is
That's
it?
the reservoir. These chambers lie in the penis, which has been reconstructed from skin in his forearm. And this little part actually sits next to the testicle in the scrotal sac. And literally, Mo can just push that, and we just push that a few times.
So the water from the reservoir then goes down the tube.
Goes down the tube, and actually it really is a very firm device, isn't it? Okay, so if you can see that's really quite solid.
yeah.
All right, and then
so if you hold them, can I just come around there, because I just want to, because they look very obviously when they're sitting in your hand they look very similar. So if they're like that,
yes.
And then how do you release it?
You then press this button, which is again underneath the skin.
Yeah.
And
Philip's going to be surprised, do you watch?
Yeah.
It won't go down.
Here you go, Mo, you're going to have to do that. You do have to press quite firmly. There we go, they're starting to go down now.
Okay, it's just because it's new, that's obviously why, you know...
So this button, the button that Dawn is pressing there, is actually...
Oh, there you go, wow! Gosh, that suddenly happened,
Okay.
didn't it?
Yeah.
Very sudden there. Someone at the door. So that button is in your scrotum.
Yeah, just slightly above the one that's obviously there's a deflate and an inflate button.
Yeah.
So obviously inflate first, and then when you finish the deflate.
So you have to press that through the skin, do you?
Yes.
So does it not hurt when you press the button?
It is a bit sore just now because it's obviously fairly new.
Yeah.
But over time period it'll calm down, you know.
So that's the mechanics sorted. Yeah. But sensation-wise, how does that feel? Does it feel the same? Is it what another man would experience, or...?
I'd say it doesn't feel like another man would feel, you know. I mean, I'm totally different, you know,
right.
because obviously it's because I've got that. I mean, it's not like if I sit and watch something, you know, I start getting sensation, nothing like that. I physically have to do something, but once it's there, you know what I mean, there's no holding me back, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, once it's there, you stay there for days.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is and they've
funny you should say that, you know, when obviously I came out of hospital on the 10th of January, and 10th of July, I'd got trained back up to Scotland, and I had to keep it. It was erect for 2 weeks.
You had to do that for it to heal.
For it to heal, because that's the way it works.
You're sitting there with a bag on your lap.
I managed to do something to not get noticed. You know?
Good gracious! So they have taken, and you have now an 8-inch penis because they've taken that from your.
Yeah, they took it from my arm.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Were you not tempted to say, could you take it up to here?
No, I never. I wasn't given a choice.
And this is where the skin grafts have been taken there in order for them to do.
Initially, that was done 3 years ago. So over the time period, they took that first, and then they shaped it, and then did whatever they did. The old one I had, I mean, it never went to waste. My surgeon, he used that to make my scrotum.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And what about sort of future relationships with women and things like that? I mean, will you be very open about what's happened to you?
I will. Yeah, I will now, because I've learnt the hard way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's something I need to get into my head. You know, be honest. I've got something to show for it now, so I think it's right to be honest. You know,
yes.
Rather than before, hold on a minute, maybe, but now it's totally the opposite. You know.
What about because this happened to you, this terrible accident when you were only 6 years old, so you are still a virgin.
Yes, I'm still a virgin.
What about children?
Children, yeah, that's a possibility. That's I've got an outpatient's appointment on the 1st of October. When my doctor's going to be discussing future what he's wanting to do, you know, obviously. And he's, in the meantime, I mean, he knows what my testosterone levels are, and he knows, like, you know, how much sperm I'm producing. Everything's normal. It's probably better than yours.
I've no doubt about it. Sometimes you just don't quite know what to say. So that is actually it's quite heavy, isn't it?
It is quite heavy, yeah. And you're aware that it's...
Yeah.
And we were having a conversation earlier, and you were saying, you know, you've been chatting to friends and saying, you know, does your penis feel heavy? Because, of course, this is all uncharted territory for Mo. So it is quite heavy. But, I mean, and these kind of devices are used, for example, in gentlemen who might have had their penis removed because of a cancer or something, or maybe for people who are Mo's story, obviously, is very, very, thankfully, unusual. But although you lost one testicle, you retained one testicle, didn't you? And so that's why he can still produce sperm. And so, you know, fathering a child is quite a possibility.
The physical aspect so closely with this particular part of a guy's body, so closely revolves around your mental state of mind. And we started off by talking about how you felt then. How do you feel now?
Now I feel brilliant. I mean, obviously, you know, I mean, I'm still a virgin, but I'm working on that, you know. But I feel brilliant, you know. I mean, I feel like, you know, before people always got the impression that I was walking along the road, somebody was talking about me, but not now, you know. I've got something to show for.
We have to start off with you, and just huge congratulations, and just so incredible. And I can't imagine what that moment was for you, knowing that you'd done the double-double.
No, it was amazing. It was pretty amazing. It's every athlete's dream to, you know, to win Olympics, but, you know, to do it in London here at home, and then to carry another 4 years and manage to pull it off, the double. It was pretty amazing.
That's incredible.
What happens when you get home after all of that, just in your head?
You just go back to my normal life and see my kids, sit down at a table and eat a good meal and live a normal life.
Do you say to him, will you just run down to the shops for me?
Yeah, I do.
You know you're going to get everything really
Well,
quickly.
first thing I do is I just hand the kids back to him, all four of them. And then, yeah, he just gets back to normal, you know, do normal stuff and get family life. You know?
Do you run? Do you continue to run?
Yeah, I still run. It's not as tense as, you know, leading up to the Olympics where you run twice a day, go gym, and, you know, every hour is almost calculated. When I come back home, you kind of a little bit more relaxed, but still run like once or sometimes twice a day, and mainly just get involved with the kids and been chilling out with them. I've been spending a lot of time with them and get to know Hussein a little bit more, and it's nice to be able to just spend that time where I miss, you know, spending time with the kids.
And that is important, isn't it? Because this is sort of the reason why you're here, really, to talk about the fact that you say get back to a normal life, but your life together and your family life is actually far from normal, because you do spend an awful lot away in order to win those medals, those 4 Olympic golds. The dedication, the time you have to take away from your family is huge. It's a big sacrifice.
Yeah, it's a massive sacrifice, and 6 months of the year I'm away from my family and the kids, and it's hard. Sometimes it's very difficult. Some of the kids, when they're ill or not doing as well as they should do at home or, you know, in school, you want to be there for them, and it's difficult. But, you know, in my career, my career is so short. You just have to make most of it, and, you know.
At this moment.
For you, Tanya, then, what are those 6 months like when he's away?
It's tough, especially now with more kids. Initially, it was when we just had Rihanna 4 years ago. It was just the one kid, so I could dedicate my time to her, and it wasn't as much of a struggle as it is now with 4 kids. So this year in particular has been hard because Mo's been away pretty much all year. So I find myself just knuckling down and trying to forget about that side of things and just focusing on doing what I need to do while he's gone. So first couple of weeks after he's gone is an adjustment. That's the hardest part, and then when he comes back, the same again. But in between, you just get conditioned to it, you know, you just focus on what you need to do.
What's that adjustment like when he comes home?
It's difficult because suddenly we've got Dad again, and there's a bit of a limbo period, and then he's as messy as anything, so he comes home and the house is a tip. He comes home and brings 3 suitcases.
You are an Olympic mess maker, aren't you? Gold medal.
I'm definitely up there. It's hard because 6 months a year you live away from home, and you have to get comfortable wherever you go. And I normally like to take a lot of stuff, like a lot of gadgets, a lot of clothes, and when I come back, my room is just...
The house is like that.
It's like a mess.
Yeah.
So how long does it take for you all to fit back into the routine?
A couple of weeks at least.
A couple of weeks, yeah.
It
doesn't take me long, but for the kids to warm up to you again, to know you're going to stay a little bit longer, it takes them a little while.
So that's why I guess winning is even more sweet, because then it must be nothing more heartbreaking to be away for 6 months of the year, make all those sacrifices, and then to not do as well as you thought you were going to do.
Yeah, it was, and even in the 10K, I got really emotional afterwards when I fell over in the race. I got really emotional because, like, you know, you train so hard for that event, and I promised Rihanna I was going to get a medal. And one moment I thought that was over. I thought that was gone. That was gone.
Tell me also about the sleeping arrangement. I don't get too personal here, but this whole thing. What do you sleep in? What's over your face?
Altitude tent.
An altitude tent.
Yeah, it's like a. Have anyone got video? It's hard to explain. Tiny
It's like a mini canopy. It's a square shape that sits over his head and shoulders.
Right.
And it's a plastic transparent sheet that covers it, and basically it's simulated so that it's at high altitude. So when he's sleeping, it's like he's being at 10,000 feet elevation.
And so it reduces the oxygen?
Correct.
Right, because I was going to say if it increased it, you'd never be able to light a candle. But so a reduction, and it used to be over the whole bed, didn't it?
Correct, yeah, it used to be over the whole bed, so I used to have to sleep in it as well, which wasn't very pleasant.
So you were sleeping, and you're not doing the running at 10,000 feet?
Yeah. So I became very fit very quickly.
And that's the reason why you do it, is because it's obviously all it benefits your fitness and things like that, but it's not very good for sort of leaning over and having a good night kiss, is it? If he's sitting in a tent.
It's not very intimate. It's not very intimate.
Lift the tent up.
Correct, yeah. You have to work around it somehow, but...
Sometimes you do get lazy. I'm like, oh, good night, babe. Oh.
Forgot my tent.
Yeah.
Pull the front down. Of course, also, we've got to mention it, really, because there was the controversy of Alberto Salazar, the trainer. And so, and he, of course, has denied any wrongdoing, has never been officially charged. But you got drawn into that scandal. And for a family, because it was both of you, you both had to live through that.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult, and, you know, you can just sort of give it 100% to what you do, and that's what I do. But I got drawn into it, and it was difficult times.
Yeah, it was tough for us because as a family, you know, you haven't done anything, and suddenly you find yourself in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. And you know, he wasn't accused of anything. That was the biggest thing for us, is that what's he done? He hasn't been accused of anything, yet we find ourselves in the headlines every day. But you know, we've moved on from that, and it's all water under the bridge now. It's all positive. We've you know come out of Rio, and we're just so buzzing from that you forget about all of that.
For more of the same, just click here.
And my Olympic training has been 12 years, you know, from Beijing up until now. And to know you haven't got that gold medal at that time, you know, I needed a minute to let that sink in.
There you were, you went to this modelling job in good faith. It had been checked out by your then agent, Phil Green, so you were happy that everything was fine.
Yeah.
When did you first think, this doesn't feel right?
It was when I walked into the studio and there was just silence. Normally someone would greet you at the door, close to the door, but I just didn't hear anything. So that's why when I saw the door saying studio on it, I went to open it, but before I had the time to quickly process my thoughts, that is exactly when the masked man put his arm around my neck and my mouth and nose.
So and injected you?
Yeah, and another one came to the front of me and injected me in my wrist.
So there were two men at this point?
Two masks.
When you saw that syringe, I mean, this happened in seconds. When you saw that syringe in his hand, what was going through your mind?
Absolute panic. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know why they were doing it. At this point, I still thought someone wrong had got me and the shoot was still supposed to go on. I didn't connect it as a setup.
Yeah.
And did you
where
instantly
did you wake
pass
up?
out?
When you passed out, when did you first wake up? Where were you when you woke up?
I woke up in the boot of a car in a zip-up bag.
Oh, my word.
And I had tape on my mouth and handcuffs on my feet and my...
And they took pictures of you, we now know. Looking at those pictures now, can you believe...
that's not... You,
but the size of
that's a reenactment there. But you were inside a plastic bag. You were sweating. You could hardly breathe.
Yeah, it was
Your
a really
mouth
hot
was
day,
taped up. What was that experience like?
It was horrible. I was still drugged up, so I didn't process it automatically, but I was trying to shout and trying to find my way out, but I didn't know what was happening.
The car was moving?
The car was moving and the radio was blaring as well, so I couldn't really get the attention, so I had to really raise my voice, like, driver, driver, where are we? And then it took a while for them to actually pull over the car and come round the back, and then I was still asking questions when they came round.
But were they still masked?
They were still masked at this point, yeah.
But you were able to see something in the back of that car, a suitcase.
Yeah, it was when they put the pullover, I saw through the gap that they'd put an empty suitcase above it, and at that point I thought that I was going to die, because what other reason would they put an empty suitcase about my size on top?
That was what you thought was your coffin?
Yeah. I was hoping for like a non-painful death.
Oh, I know.
I know. Do you know, Chloe, I think when we saw you give your news conference, and even when you started this interview talking, I think you you speak very well, you're very well composed, and a lot of people don't understand that. They understand what they see now, but they don't understand why you're not constantly on show as a nervous wreck.
Yeah, that's just how I am as a person. I try to be as strong as possible. And I was in Italy for 3 weeks before I actually came home to the UK, so I had what people here didn't witness was me crying almost every day, me being too paranoid to leave my room. Any noises I hear, I would freak out, having nightmares. No one here witnessed that. I only started to get more reassured as it came to the end of the 3-week period when police were trying to reassure me that they know the truth of the story and I don't have to be as fearful as I am now when I return to the UK.
Well, after a 3-week investigation, the police in Italy have charged a man, Lucas Herba, with kidnap and extortion. They say your story is credible, and court documents have confirmed the key details of your story as well. It's also been confirmed that you were drugged with ketamine and that there was an injection hole in your arm. The first time you laid eyes on Herba, or you heard his voice, these two men in this car, they brought you to this country farmhouse. You had no idea where you were, what country you were in, if you'd been put on a plane, a boat or whatever, but you woke up in this farmhouse. Tell us about Herba, and the first time you heard him, he was rowing with the other two men, because it seems to be that you were not the intended target.
No, because they said they'd call the boss, and I didn't know the boss would be Herba. So there was like an argument going on downstairs, and then that was the last I ever saw of the masked man, and the one that I saw that wasn't masked. So then eventually he came upstairs and sat on the bed and said, I don't know if you remember, but I met you briefly in Paris at the airport.
Did you remember?
No, I didn't recognise him at first.
Did he tell you, Herba, did he tell you what the intention was after they kidnapped you?
For sex trafficking. He said I would be sold to somewhere in the Middle East, and that the men would use the girls for about 3 months, pass them around to all the relatives and friends, and then when they're eventually bored of the girls, and they just feed them to the tigers.
And they
feed them to the tigers?
Yeah.
How terrifying. I mean, that is absolutely ghastly.
Yeah.
But at the same time he opened up negotiations, he was sending emails back to the UK, and your agent, your then agent, was handling those and brokering some sort of deal, which Herba said that he would accept some sort of payment for you. Wasn't it difficult for you then, when you had an agent who was working on your behalf doing that, to then leave that agent so quickly after coming back?
No, because I can't help but blame him, because my mum said that when she called him and said that I was missing, she was urging him to check out the studio and the number of the photographer to see if I turned up to the shoot. And then the next day, he was able to check that the studio doesn't exist.
Although on Good Morning Britain, he says that he did check and that he looked on Google Maps and the studio was there.
Save himself, but he said he called other agencies within Milan and no one had ever heard of the studio. So I did feel really let down, because I don't take bookings through my email or DM on Instagram, because for that reason I feel that it's not safe. But then to rely on a manager to have done all the checks and then be let down and almost lose my life because of it, of course I'm going to change agency.
I mean, all this, when you read it all, it sounds like a film.
Yeah.
You know, it's incredible to think you're sitting here. How has this affected you? How has it changed you?
Well, I still am scared. Even when I'm home, I'm not going to be the same person again. I'm going to have a complete career change. It's really affected my life.
You're going to have a complete career change? So what do you mean? What will the future hold for you?
I haven't really thought about the future yet so much, but I know that I won't be the same as what I was before.
You don't want to model anymore?
Not glamour model, no.
It's World Continence Week this week, and currently 1.5 million children in the UK are living with a bowel or bladder condition.
Yes, so Dancing on Ice star Molly Pearce has teamed up with 8-year-old Katie Thurling, both of whom live with stoma bags, to help break the stigma and encourage others to speak out. The pair join us now alongside Katie's mum Kelly to share their stories. Good morning to all of you.
Hello. What glamorous couch this
Very,
is.
very glamorous couch. Lovely to see you, Molly. Katie, thank you for coming in. It's really lovely to see you on an important day like today. Can you tell us a little bit about your stoma bag? I think it's got a name, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What's it called? Diamond. Why is it called Diamond?
Well, Diamond is a girl's best friend, and I just honestly love diamonds. And Diamond and I've just named it Diamond because it's like a diamond to me because it helps me, and people call someone a diamond if they're really helpful, and this was really helpful to me.
Yeah, I think my wife might use that as a reason for me to get more diamonds. They're really helpful.
She's got a big birthday coming up. You better do good.
That's amazing. I love it. So tell us a little bit about life before you had Diamond. What was it like?
It was really bad because I couldn't really be in school, and I had to be in hospital a lot more because I was born with a thing that would make me really poorly, and I just missed out on a lot of learning, and I thought that my friends would have someone else to play with and grow out of playing with me.
But you were also very brave, because if anybody has to have an operation at all, I would be, and I know you would be. You'd be scared. Did you feel scared before you had it?
No, I was like very calm and all right, because the doctors were very nice and they were very gentle with what they were doing. They knew what to do, and they were stripped careful and gentle and did it all right.
They did do it all right.
Yeah.
How does it feel having the bag?
Well, I don't really feel anything at all. It just feels like nothing's there.
Yeah.
No, but you are a bit of a superstar in your class, though, aren't you? Because I've heard that you did a PowerPoint I wouldn't even know how to do that. A PowerPoint presentation of like 10 different... What did you do? You told them all about it, right?
Yeah, I explained every detail of a stoma and how it helps people who's been poorly and who has one now. And I was happy that they asked me questions, because whenever people ask me questions, it makes me feel happy because they want to learn, and a lot of my friends wanted to learn and ask me a lot of questions.
It's brilliant that you're so happy to share, because it changes everything. And I know that you've used your voice and your experience to help other people as well, because the importance of having bathrooms for people like you that have stomas, and public bathrooms that are set up as well. What have you been able to do?
So I've recorded some videos and say, hi guys, today I'm going to be reviewing these toilets, and been reviewing them. And every disabled toilet I've been showing if they had a hook shelf or mirror, and that's what a stoma-friendly toilet needs.
A hook, shelf and a mirror.
Yeah. And when it has them, you get to know like everything that you need, and you get to like put stuff like, you wouldn't put baby stuff on the floor, so why else should you put stoma stuff on the floor?
When she explains it like that, it's simple.
Makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. So hold on, how did you meet Molly? Like, how did this girl action happen?
So basically, ever since I started watching Traitors, she was on it then, and ever since then, I started sending lots of good luck videos and hoping she'd do really good. And then soon she got on Dancing on Ice.
Yeah, that's when we
and
connected.
I started always sending pictures of, videos of a song. And I would put my own song of what they did. Like, sometimes I'd send pictures and sometimes I'd send songs of my...
So every week, me and Colin would get either a photo or a video with support from Katie, and it was so nice. We used to, like, run to each other's dressing rooms, be like, it's posted, it's up. And you decorated your bag, didn't you? Decorated diamonds, so it was really lovely.
But Molly, that must be amazing for you as well. That must be a really amazing feeling to know.
It is
that
lovely.
You're connecting.
It's so lovely, but at Katie's age, I would not have had half the confidence she did. So I think it's incredible that you're spreading so much awareness, and especially in schools, because you're not only educating the children, you're also educating teachers as well, because a lot of them are unaware of the impact it might have or the facilities you might need. So you're doing really incredible things. So thank you from me as well.
And tell us about Eric, because you teamed up together with this charity to try and help bring awareness to what you both have to deal with, and lots of other people as well.
Yeah, so they support families, well, children and families with bowel and bladder conditions, and I think we sometimes forget the impact it can have on the families as well. Like, I know it was really difficult for my parents. It's hard to see your child so unwell, and it's not always possible to get in touch with the NHS or to contact a nurse for advice. So having Eric's been so helpful. I know to you, they've...
Definitely.
Do you feel the same, Kelly?
100%. You know, general practitioners are fabulous, but they don't have as much knowledge as your bowel and colorectal specialists. And, you know, as much as you have wonderful stoma nurses out there, they're not 24/7. And Eric even though they're not 24/7, you know you can drop them an email at any point as well, and their support is invaluable.
Do you identify what Molly was saying? She was saying it was difficult for her parents to see her being ill, and you must have experienced that for Katie.
100%, and it's that you'll always have a mum guilt. You know, am I going to be resented later for potentially having scars on her little body? Is she going to be thankful? But it's the best thing we've done. You know, you're a new child, aren't you?
Yeah.
Happy, healthy, and love life.
But she's had some comments in public as well, though, hasn't she, that haven't necessarily been... I mean, I'm sure she's dealt with them like only she would, but what sort of things has she faced if you've been in public?
People being disapproving of the fact she has her bag out on show. We've had children at a shopping centre asking their mum, oh, what's that girl got a bag on her tummy? And the response, it's disgusting, you don't need to know about things like that. To which Katie replied, what is disgusting is my life before this bag, thank you, and walked off.
Good for you.
But she does see now it's more, rather than seeing it as ignorance, you see it as an opportunity to educate people, don't you? And that's how she is. It's all about educating people. You know, she loves watching football at Ellen Road, and she will be straight in.
Your Leeds fan?
She is.
Oh, wow, hold on. Big season next
you
season.
You were getting on before, weren't you?
But she'll be straight in talking to the team there about, you know, thank you for sorting your bathrooms out, and it's the first part of call.
And it's not just the practicality of life, it's also enjoying life and thriving. Like, you can swim, you can trampoline, you can do all these amazing things.
Yeah, and Kate is a lover of music, concerts, you know, the child, her first concert.
You can't sing that.
4-year-old. First concert at 4-year-old was madness.
I love really?
That. Yeah, she will fly through concerts now, and it's that case of the more things she can attend, the better, isn't it?
What do you love doing, Katie?
I love sending videos on how to be supportive with stomachs and everything that can help people who has a stomach, and say that it's not embarrassing to show your stomach for people who are very embarrassed to show it.
Yeah, we tell people, everyone goes to the toilet, we just do it a little bit differently. So why should we feel ashamed of that, eh?
You shouldn't.
The more you can talk to people, the better.
And you should, I mean, the importance of educating people means that you're here with us today.
Yes.
Where should you be today, Katie?
I should have been in a school trip at Edenton, but...
What's Edenton?
It's a place where you can go canoeing and... paddleboarding too, and you can also do, like, lots of activities there, like climbing up mountains.
It sounds amazing.
Is it called Leeds Kayaking and Activities Sailing Activity Centre?
It's just Edenton. I'm not sure what else Edenton.
Well, maybe we could sort out Edenton to reach out and get you to come back on another day, because we've loved having you come in and be so amazing today alongside Molly and your mum as well. It would be amazing if they could reach out, I think.
Well, we have just found out that they have. And so you can go for a day and have a fun day out with everybody and just go and enjoy it. So you've been here, you've educated everybody, you've had a chat to us, met him, got your autograph.
For the teacher.
Who was it? Who was your teacher?
Mrs. Stringer.
Mrs. Stringer.
Mrs. Stringer,
you're
incoming Mrs.
sorted.
Stringer. Sounds
No
like she's got
worries.
great taste.
And you can go kayaking too. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Molly.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
You're amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
So you've gone bigger than last year, despite everything that everybody said to you. Why?
I think because after Christmas, obviously, the kids said to me, is the way we spend Christmas bad, Mum? And I said, absolutely no way. In fact, you're going to get a few more this year because I love you.
I mean, you can't even see your tree.
No, I must admit I am an ace bargain hunter. Absolutely brilliant. So
and a lot of this...
Again, it's no debt.
We'll pick up on that because you say that it looks outrageous. Well, it is outrageous, but you look for deals. You watch Martin Lewis very closely. You make sure that when you do buy, that you save as much money as you possibly can.
Absolutely, yeah. I've managed to do it all again without credit cards, without debt, anything like that. So I start at the beginning of the year. So, you know, the way I see it is I'm not asking anybody else for a penny of their money. I pay for the kids myself, and each to their own at Christmas.
How long does it take them to open all of those on Christmas Day? You must be there forever.
Normally takes about 3 hours to open everything, and we have a break in between and have a bacon butty and a cup of tea, but yeah, it's about 3 hours.
How long does it take to wrap them?
I start in August.
Oh my gosh, wow. But there's things in there also, you know, there's things that the kids really need. You say, you know, there's things, sort of things for their school uniform, bits and bobs like that. So you do wrap an awful lot of things that it's not just toys, it's things that they need.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of things there that they need. There's a lot of things there that they want, and there's a lot of things that I choose to buy them, things that I think that they're going to like.
But also you say that they're things that they need, but you've admitted that there's stuff in the bedrooms that hasn't been used from last year, presents that have never been touched.
I think in the documentary that's coming out tonight, it showed that there was a popcorn maker and a notepad that Ella hasn't used. So if you think of all the presents that they've got, for them to not use 2 things out of all them prezzies, I don't think that's too bad.
Well, just looking down all the comments, and you can imagine, you know, you had all this last year, so you can imagine what everybody's saying. Although Marina says she spent £3,000 on her 3 children, don't know why, because they wrote a letter to Santa and only asked for a handful of things. You know, so you know, the kids don't necessarily want all that, and most of the people who are saying anything on social media is saying it's the thought that counts. It's not all about presents.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite fiery when it comes to my kids, and I have bit back at a couple of people, and I've noticed that the ones that are judging don't like to be judged back. They kind of retreat and go, oh, how dare she? So I think a lot of it is keyboard warriors and people that, you know, the ones on my wavelength just think either good for her or it's not my cup of tea, but it's up to her what she does. She's not on any benefits.
It's not the sort of, that's not the essence of that site behind you, magnificent as it is not the spirit of Christmas.
I think if I was doing it 365 days a year and giving them gifts every day, I'd be spoiling them. For us, we don't go out partying every single weekend, you know what I mean? You won't find me at a bar necking Jaeger bombs every weekend. I'm at home, me and my partner, we work hard all year round, and if that's what we decide to spend our money on, our children, for one day of the year, well, then why not? Who's anybody to judge it?
No, totally, but sadly they do. And also, as tough and as strong as you are, it did affect you last year, and it affected you so much so that on Christmas Eve you ended up in hospital.
I did, yeah. I think if anybody goes from being a normal mum at home watching telly to then being in America in front of millions of people on telly, it's, you know, it is going to take a stress and a strain on you. That's why this year I feel so much stronger in myself. I think, you know, my tree gave me amazing opportunities this year, both in film and TV, and I'm still on the same lines as last year. If you don't like it, if you're appalled by it, scroll on. If you find, oh, it's boring, turn the page. Don't look at it. I'll do what I want to do. You do what you want to do. It's not a problem.
What does your husband get? Has he got any prezzies in that pile?
Oh, yeah. I've got him a little bit less little bits, but he's got a couple of really big presents this year, like main presents.
What about you?
That I know he's going to be made up with, so...
Have you got loads of presents?
Me, I get a few bits, yeah. Me, yeah. I get a few, yeah, off the kids. The kids buy me little things, and James goes out and buys me bits, but, yeah, they say it's all about giving, and that's what I love to do for my family. I love to give them presents.
And what's Father Christmas going to bring? It looks like everything's under the tree. He's going to be thinking, well, she's got everything.
Father Christmas, he doesn't discriminate. He brings them a little sack, usually things that they've asked for on their list. So they're no different to any other child.
Santa's agreeing here.
He's all right. He
agrees. Good luck, Santa.
He can get down the chimney. He might not be able to get under the tree, but he can get down the chimney. Thank you very much indeed.
And a Merry Christmas to your family. If you enjoyed that, there's more of the same right here. And make sure you subscribe so that you never miss the best moments from this morning. Your mum plays a huge role in this, doesn't she?
Yes.
Because you fell pregnant when you were 16 and the baby wasn't planned. The father of the baby moved on in his own way and wasn't interested in this. And you knew if you told your mum, she would make you...
She'd force an abortion.
Force an abortion. So you kept this completely secret entirely to 6 months so that was not an option that she could force you to have.
Yeah.
And her reaction to you having a baby straight away was, you can't have this. And in fact... it was her position in society that she felt would be threatened by you having this baby.
She thought she would lose her place in the golf club.
It's extraordinary, isn't it, really?
Sorry.
No, I can understand. I can understand how you feel about this entirely. A different world back then as well, growing up in South Wales in the 70s.
Very, very different. It's... I suppose my mother was a product of her time as well, really. She was the ultimate 50s housewife. You know, they had cocktail parties with French bread made into millipedes and, you know, ladies wore frocks with big skirts and life was perfect. And if you were really perfect, you gave your husband a son. You didn't have twins, a boy and a girl, and the girl survived and the boy didn't.
No, that what happened.
And I never got forgiven for that.
Right.
And so what did your father say when he found out?
My dad wasn't a highly emotional man. In fact, I think children were a bit of a mystery to him. He just told me to grow up. Well, I begged him to let me keep Nicola. And he just sort of brushed me away and said, grow up, and walked away.
And in the hospital, after you'd had Nicola, you almost went into a bit of naive denial, really, didn't you?
Yeah. So it was Christmas time. There was going to be a miracle.
Yeah. And you
didn't happen.
You had 10 beautiful days with her, and you turned 17 during this time. That day when, as you said there in your post online, where you went down to the car park to, well, not even hand her over, have her wrestled from your arms. How did you feel at that moment?
Literally what I said, like my heart had been ripped out my chest. It was so callous and so unfeeling, and my mother couldn't even come to grips with the idea that I might love this child. As far as she was concerned, it was a little bastard, and that was it.
And
that's her words.
That's what she said, didn't she? Yeah.
And right, from that moment on, there was no hug afterwards, after the baby had gone?
Nothing. She arranged for me to go away for a few days to recover. I came back and had a nervous breakdown.
And she never acknowledged that she had a granddaughter?
No.
Or that you had a daughter?
No. Not until she was dying 2 years ago.
And what did she say?
Just before she died, she said, you told me you'd never forgive me. And I said, yes, I did.
And is that the last thing that was said, or was there more said?
I said, let's talk about something else.
And so, when you got that picture on that first birthday, the only picture you have, and it's fading now over time, how did that make you feel when you saw her a year old?
It was comforting. It was comforting because she looked beautiful. Her bedroom looked lovely. She had a beautiful cot. So I knew that she was really in her family. And I accepted that right from the beginning, that once she entered into the family, there was no way I was ever going to intervene to try and get her out of it again.
No. As long as she was happy.
As long as she was happy. And she obviously was. She was an adorable little dot when she was born, and she looked even more adorable a year later.
Well, Nicola, she could be watching now. We don't know whether she is watching, and hopefully, because of all of this, well, she'll contact you.
I will announce on television now that when I go home, I'm shutting my Facebook page because I can't take the pressure.
Why would you do that? She might contact you.
I've been getting a lot of hate mail.
Right. Okay.
Can you get someone else to vet it for you?
I might be able to.
Because she might use that to contact you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually there are other avenues. Yeah,
I'm nodding really because I feel very sad that you haven't had the support that you've needed over the years. And in fact, the law changed in 2005, which gave birth relatives the right to request an intermediary service. And you can get help, and in a safe way where you can both be supported, because an agency will help you locate her, and they will make contact with her and ask if she wants contact. Admittedly, we don't know how it will end up, but at least you'll be supported along the way.
I think by now she is probably aware because it's just everywhere like a rash. I hope I haven't hurt her. I hope I haven't placed a burden on her shoulders.
The thing is, though, that
I just want closure.
Yeah.
I want either to know her or for her to tell me, no, I don't want to know. And I would respect that.
you were a 16-year-old girl. You've told us it's been plainly obvious how much you absolutely loved her. It's the 1970s. It's a part of the country where, you know, it's not as if, you know, it's here where things were a little more accepted.
Welsh Valleys is not...
But nevertheless, hopefully, I think that when she sees this, if she sees this or she sees that post, she's going to understand the circumstances so much more. But I really think you should get someone else to look at your Facebook page. Don't you do it if it's... And also, don't be affected by the fools that contact you.
It can be incredibly hurtful.
Yes, don't be affected by that.
I've had 125 Nicholas.
That's so...
And usually ending up with a sting in the tail at the end of the post.
Oh, no, that's cruel.
Well, let someone else do that.
We wish you all the luck with this, and thank you for coming and telling us your story on The Sofa Today.
Thanks for watching. Click here for more This Morning videos.